Hello and welcome to Re-enthused. Today, so we are looking at this board. If you're a patron, you'll know what this board is. This was in our gift box, our 50th anniversary gift box. It's a very, very simple circuit. It's not entirely trouble-free, as it turns out, but it doesn't matter. That wasn't the point of the circuit. So what we're going to do is, just to kind of show it off, because at least one non-patron will be receiving one of these at some point, we're going to get Erica to build the circuit. Now, Erica, you've had no experience doing any kind of soldering before?
No.
Do you know which end of the soldering iron to hold?
The one that looks like a pen bit is the bit that I don't hold. You know, the nib. The nib fine. I don't touch.
We'll definitely make this a better training exercise. It's okay. No one's getting burned today. Right. Okay, so simply there are your components. So the brightly coloured things are your LEDs, your light emitting diodes. Mm-hmm. They make light, weirdly enough. Above that are resistors.
Okay, those, yeah.
Reduce the flow of energy through the LEDs to stop them from blowing up. A battery, I think you probably recognise a battery.
Recognise one, yeah.
The battery holder next to that, which we'll be putting on last because it's plastic and we have to do soldering around it so we don't want to melt it.
Okay, makes sense.
And the button, which activates the machine.
This thing, this
that is the button, yes.
Okay.
Very simple, but you don't know how to solder, so we're going to be doing it.
No idea.
We'll do a little tutorial first. So if you look at the actual board, if you flip it upside down, because most of the soldering will be done on this side, and you'll see there's those silver rings.
Yes.
Those silver rings are pads, and so that's a metallic surface that will hold solder. If you look at the components, they've got those long legs on them. Yep. The legs will be going through the board, and obviously they're metallic as well, and the idea is for you to be able to add solder to the legs and the pad, and it will hold it in place. They'll go through the other side, but yeah, and we have to learn about which side to go as well.
Right, so they go through that side?
Yeah.
Okay.
I know we just talk about polarity, but we'll talk about that in a second.
Okay.
So they go through, and once they're through, you'll be able to heat up both those surfaces, then add solder, and that will create the join, which will not only add electrical conductivity, but also physical grip to stop the piece falling off.
Right.
That's the theory. Right. So your solder is here.
Okay.
Stream of stuff. This is a metallic alloy, specially designed to be to melt at a very low temperature, or comparatively low temperature. Our soldering iron is set to 350 degrees.
Okay.
And that should be plenty to melt this solder. So, I recommend first of all we start with the diodes, the LEDs.
These things?
No, LEDs. The lights.
Okay.
Now there is a specific pattern that the logo has of colours, but it doesn't mean you can put them in wherever you want. So if you turn the board the other way again.
You say I could just be colourful with it?
You can, you put wherever you want.
Okay.
So you see that there are the kind of like roundish white patches that have got the two pads in them.
Yep.
Those are where all of the LEDs go. And you'll see that there's a plus symbol above them all.
Yep.
They may not be exactly next to each other, but you'll see the plus symbol there.
Yep.
So if you look at one of those LEDs, you'll see that one of the legs is longer than the other one.
Right.
So the longest leg, that's the plus, the plus polarity leg. So that's the leg that has to go closest to the plus. So if you put it through the board,
through, and
push it all the way in. So as long as that's the right way round, that will light up. So the best way of doing this is to hold the LED in place and then just kind of bend the legs out. So if you hold it at the top on the actual LED itself, and then bend the legs out, that will hold it in place so you can solder easier. You have to bend them all the way out, just a little bit will do, but that's fine as well. Right, so now if you turn it back over then, we're going to do a bit of soldering. No, the other way, because we want to solder on the bottom.
Okay.
Right, so if you take the soldering iron, hold it there, and if you see on the soldering iron tip, there's a flat point.
Yep.
That's the bit you want to be using. So if you take the solder in the other hand.
Okay.
And then, no, take solder away, you don't want the solder there just yet, you just hold it in your hand. No, have it ready.
Okay,
you're going to be using it immediately, you need it in separate hands.
Okay.
If you apply heat to both the pad and the leg, so you're touching both.
Pad and the leg?
Yeah, so the circle, the metallic circle round bit.
Okay.
And the leg.
Yep.
And then go and apply, so keep it held on and then add the solder.
How do you mean hold on?
No, literally just keep the tip. on the pad and the leg, and then just apply the solder. So move the solder in to touch it. No, keep it on. You need to keep it hot. You should see it melting. Take it away.
Or something melted.
You haven't touched it. You haven't touched the pad properly. You need to touch the pad as well.
Okay, so I think I've got it.
Don't worry. Just careful. The top. That's hot.
Okay.
So make sure you're touching the pad. So aim for the pad more than the leg, but as long as you're touching both,
I'm
that's
not
fine.
touching both.
Right. So touch the pad, and then add the. No, don't worry.
I haven't got to the point of worry yet.
So you need to go close to the pad. So put the flat bit on the pad with the tip of it just touching the.
Okay, 1 second. See, slow learner. Okay. Right.
So I recommend you just kind of slide the solder iron onto the pad and then just have the tip.
Okay.
But let it heat up for a bit before you add the solder.
Right.
So if I help you...
No. I mean,
okay.
Otherwise I won't learn if you...
Let it heat up for a bit first and then add the solder. Don't add the solder immediately, otherwise you won't get a good bond. Okay. Right, that's it. Now push the solder in and it should just melt when it's heat.
It's definitely melting.
Alright, if you take it away now. There you go. Now you've covered both the pad and the leg.
Okay.
That looks like it's a pretty good joint.
Okay, do the same to the other one?
Do the same to the other one. Take the solder away first. You want to heat it up a bit first. Then make sure you're touching the pad. You're touching the leg more than the pad.
Okay.
That's it. Now take it in. As long as both of them are heated up, it will apply itself to both. That's it.
I don't think I did a good job there.
No, you want to put it flat to the board. So you don't worry about putting it on the leg.
Yep.
Put it on the pad.
Right.
That's it. As long as you're touching the leg with the pad, it's fine.
Okay.
Right, that should probably do it. There you go. That looks like it's got a joint.
Okay, you sure?
Yes, it's me. We'll take a closer look. Yeah, you can probably do a bit more solder.
Okay, so I should put more solder on.
But you have actually got a joint there.
Okay.
Focus. There we are. So yeah, no, you can put a bit more solder on, but if you do exactly the same thing again.
And a bit more.
Don't push down too hard. You don't need to push onto it, you just need to heat it up.
Okay.
That's probably enough.
That feels better to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent. So now what you do is you put the soldering iron away in its little holder.
Yep.
And then if you lift the legs up, you can then use those eggshell blue coloured things over by the light. Those are side cutters, so you can just use them to snip the legs right above where you've done the solder joint.
Okay.
There you go. That's your first component.
Okay.
So now do that another...
What? How many times?
15 times.
Okay.
Ignoring the button and the battery connector.
Right. Okay, so I'm gonna keep going with green on. Right, okay. So that is all my lights done.
Right, fair enough. Now we're going to be putting on the resistors. Now the resistors are quite a bit easier,
right?
In the sense they're not polarised. So you see all those big, longer ones?
Okay, yes. Battery shaped.
Battery-shaped ones, yep. So the resistors go in there. But again,
are resistors the same as batteries?
No.
Okay. I mean,
okay, so if you imagine,
I know that's not the same size or anything, but are they?
Think of like the charge you get for a circuit as being a water pipe.
Okay.
A resistor is like if you add an attachment which makes that water pipe a lot thinner.
Okay.
So less water can go through. So that's what a resistor is.
Right.
It just reduces the amount of current going into the LEDs because to stop them from overcharging, basically, over getting too much energy.
Quick question. So we've got 9 lights here.
Yep.
And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
6. There are 6. One that's in the middle as well. No. Look in the middle of the actual pattern.
Oh, okay. Sorry. 6.
Yeah.
So why? I mean, shouldn't there be the same amount of resistors as there are lights?
No.
Or no?
Because
or is that
all we're doing is reducing the current. So a couple of the LEDs are sharing resistors.
Okay.
Now, you don't have to do that way. You can have one each.
Okay.
And in theory, you could probably get away with just 1 or 2. But we're doing it, this circuit is what we call parallel, or at least mostly parallel. So what it means is that if one LED doesn't work, the rest should light up.
Okay, because you want that to happen no matter what. Okay.
So that's if you were doing a serial, you could just have one resistor. You could probably get away with one resistor, which will reduce the current for the whole lot.
Yep.
But that means if one LED drew too much power or went, then the rest of them wouldn't light up.
Okay, we don't want that.
No.
Right. Okay. So these.
So with the resistors, basically, you want to pull them out of their little paper shroud thing. I hate these things. They leave icky residue on the legs.
Okay. Right. Both sides, or does it matter?
Well, yes, you need both sides off, yeah. Just pull one out at a time, I'd say.
Okay.
So you see it's got these long legs. So basically what we want to do is we want to pre-bend them. So what I recommend is putting your thumb and forefinger right against the actual resistor. Right against the edge of it, sorry. And then just bending down from there, like that. That's it. Okay. So straight. And do that on both sides, and that should be just about enough to go through the board.
Right.
And then just put it in the board. Like I say, you can try and put the colours the same way if you want, but it doesn't actually matter.
It doesn't?
No, there's no polarity.
So there's not. So the red and then the eventual sort of brown doesn't matter?
No, those colours literally just tell you what type of resistor they are if you can read it.
Oh, okay.
But
what kind of resistor is this?
These are 220 ohm resistors.
Huh. I don't know what that means, but okay.
It's fine. So now you just put them through. It doesn't matter which way. Like I say, if you want to, for neatness, you can make the colours line up, but it doesn't matter electrically whether you do that or not.
Okay.
And same thing again, you just put them through and then bend the legs. So these will probably hold in better than the LEDs did.
Why?
Just because there's so much more physical force of the legs because they're spread apart more.
Okay.
That's it. So is that the same thing again?
Gone down?
It'll go up again. It turns itself down while it's not being used.
Oh.
There you go.
Right, lovely. Okay.
Unwind the solder a little bit. There you go.
Oh, a little bit more. Thank you. Does it feel weird just waiting for someone else to do this?
There's a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. I probably don't have to do this, do I?
Nah.
But if I do, it's okay.
It's not going to take too much away. Yeah.
Okay. So
the resistor's done then.
Resistor's all done.
Right, so I think the next thing to put on is probably the battery connector. So the big black business, and it goes on the back. And if you look, there's like a small hump on the actual battery connector. So it's circular, but then it's got the hump in the back, and that matches up with the hump on the back of that, and it should just kind of push in. Although, bear in mind,
what do you mean hump? You mean that? Is that the hump?
No, you see, if you look at it, it's a circle, but it's got that bit coming off the side, the same as that, look.
Well, I just was going to put it like that.
Yep,
is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
So as long as both the legs are through, you should be able to put it onto the... No, I wouldn't bother doing that on that. I'd literally just put it onto the thing upside down that should hold it in place.
So to turn it over?
Yeah.
Okay. And I solder from this side?
Yep, and this time you can slightly push down on it.
Okay.
Now this will take quite a bit more solder.
Right. The normal.
Yeah.
Why?
You want to fill the whole pad because it needs to really hold that in place. You imagine if you were using this as a proper product, and you'd be taking the battery on and off for ages, loads of times.
Okay.
It needs a lot of physical grip to stop it from breaking apart.
Okay. I think I'm going to pull slightly further back, but yes.
That's probably it. You got. There you go.
Okay.
That nice mound.
You happy with that mound?
Can't see. Yeah, that should be enough. That should be fine.
Okay. Same again for Claymore?
Yeah.
Cool. That mound okay?
Yeah, that should be right.
Okay.
Right, so the last thing to put in,
Yes.
well, the last thing to solder is the button. Now, if you look at the button, it's kind of got a slightly longer side.
Well, you mean the little legs?
Yeah, so you'll see the legs, the way they bend in.
Yep, the little
That side's
spider
slightly
legs.
longer, and so it should match the actual pattern on the board.
Okay. Does it matter particularly which way? Or?
Yeah, the long side has got to follow the long side of the board. So you see where the two wires are closest together? They go on the edge.
What do you mean two wires are closer
You see
together?
the legs, or the four legs?
Yes.
You see that they're closer together on one side than they are the other?
No.
Yeah.
Absolutely have no idea.
So you see those two are closer than if you turn it one than that way.
Okay. So they go that way.
So it goes that way.
I would have absolutely still no idea what you're talking about if you hadn't.
Okay, I mean...
Because I can't see it. I can't see it.
I'm probably explained it badly. So if you look at the legs,
Yes.
you see those two are quite a long distance apart.
Yes.
Whereas when you turn it that way,
There's those
they're
two.
quite short.
Okay.
See, those are quite short.
Yep.
Those are quite long.
All right. So
the long
yes.
distance has to be like that, going along the long side of the board.
Okay. So essentially, no. This might be also.
No, it's important because basically there are only two legs that actually make the contact. They actually say, yes, we should be putting power through.
Okay. So I put my legs through.
Yep.
And they barely go through. They're not really.
It probably will take. There's a bend in them, so it will take a bit of pushing.
Until I push them to go in.
You want to go as flat as possible.
Right. Okay. So they're now in.
Yep.
Right. So
both sides.
Yes.
One side looks like it's not.
It really is.
Oh no, it is. I can.
Totally.
Yeah, it's just the angle. That's it. Now just solder them. They'll probably hold in fine.
Okay. Solder.
Yep. You don't have to hold it down. They'll hold in. They won't fall out.
Okay.
But just do one side and then the other, basically the other corner. So do two corners first and then do the other two corners. No, down one. No, cross one. That's it, corner, see?
Oh, diagonally across from each
Opposite
other.
corners, yeah.
Diagonally, okay.
That's just so you've got the mechanical grip on both sides in.
Right.
And then do the other two after you've done that.
Is that enough? I don't like that solder job. I'm going to carry on. Right, feel better with that one. Right, and now if I hadn't done it that way and I just put it in, would it completely wreck the entire thing? Would it not work in any way?
It probably wouldn't work. So you need the two legs to make contact for the electricity to flow through the circuit when it's pushed. So if they're not making contact, it won't throw electricity through.
But would that prevent, say, for instance, some of it working and some of it not?
No, it just wouldn't work.
Okay, so you would just know that you'd failed at that point.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we'll turn off the soldering iron because that's all the soldering done.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right.
So now we just need to put the battery in.
Okay. Just like a normal in. Okay. Is it filming?
Yep.
Magic!
Right. Well.
Re-enthused 5 years. No, pretty nice, pretty nice. I'm going to put one on, I'm going to put the other one on the Christmas tree.
I know. Well, anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks to all the patrons that have backed me, and to everyone that has watched any of my videos or subscribed over the 5 years. It's been an incredible ride. We will, we'll have another video later on anyway, so yeah. See you later.